Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at how to attack on the map Fracture as KAYO. There are so many lanes on this video, so here is the TLDR for those of you who can't stick around. This is going to be a long one since there are 4 lanes to attack as KAYO. So we've got a main here with flashes and nade combinations. I'm going to walk through why I do everything just so that you have a better understanding of how to use KAYO in situational gameplay. You're also going to see cool things like lineups for towers, for the nest and drop, flashing positions, and things like that. So I hope you stick around because it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, what's cooler than a nerdy nade lineup for tower on B stairs? Or another nerdy lineup for B tower from arcade? Well, if you want to learn how to do these, please stick around. We're going to jump into the B site first. So we're going to start off with B first on stairs here. Now, I always start off with the Dagger because there's just so much ability for the Dagger to capture good information for you to set up some of your other utility. And so there's a couple of main spots that I like to throw my Dagger. Pre-round, mid-round, and late round. So I'll tell you the first thing. So the first one is going to clear a little bit of canteen and generator. The second one is going to be pretty much right in the center of the site. It's going to clear tower, and then it's going to be this little cubby area here. And then the last one I throw under the underpass, and it clears off maybe anybody sitting in the link area or anybody in the close arcade in case somebody's playing a close corner here. So I'll show you what those look like. So the first one is a pre-round Dagger. Right when the wall goes down, I'll just aim it right into this little corner here. And what this does is it clears off anybody who might be pushing main here with the stairs, so like an operator, sometimes like a chamber or a jet will take an aggressive shot. But it also lets you know if there's anybody close to the right here. So it's really just for early round aggression. And it's just to let you know if there's anybody playing close here when you're attacking on B. So I'll always throw this one here just to let you know, okay, who's playing on site? Are the stairs clear to take here? Can we peek out? Can we move forward? So that's the first Dagger, just right into this bushes. You can throw it to the left a little bit more if you're playing with maybe versus a breach who's more aggressive and they want to concuss it and push. I'll throw it closer to here, so if they push even further, they're just really going to be suppressed. So that's the first Dagger. It's just right up in this vicinity here. The second Dagger I throw, now if I don't throw this one and we're going to be doing a quick push, or if that one's just not right, or if we throw it and we have extra time, what I'll do is I'll try to throw it right here on this like little bar, or this wall corner here too, like if I'm in a pinch and I just don't want to do it. What this does is it clears out the cubby area and just the opening of the tower. And the reason why you want to throw it in the center here is because it hits up here and it actually clears this spot. So what's great about this is it lets you know if there's anybody on site. Like, it's a very accurate Dagger. So this one is just to clear the left side. So if you don't hit anybody here, you can start to look to the right. Now you know that this area is clear all the way up until this part of the tower. So that's a lot of information to gather. Toss this Dagger up, you can look. Now you know there's nobody on site, or if you do, you have a controller smoke this area, you know that there's somebody playing in this little left area vicinity. So this is a very accurate Dagger. You want to hit up onto this little mid kind of arch here. You just have to throw it a little bit higher and it'll clear out the whole left side. So that's the second Dagger. Now the third Dagger is a little bit more unorthodox, but I do like it because it helps me understand sometimes there's a operator playing at the link. So what I'll do is I will take the Dagger and say, for example, we're rotating or something, and I want to know if a team has rotated. What I'll do is I'll just toss a Dagger right here on this little like corner of the wall here. This suppresses the far CT, far canteen. This is in case you're doing a rotate, or if they're just playing back. You playing the game and you notice that they're just playing operators in the back, or there's somebody always playing this little corner in the canteen here. This is a very common spot for people to play a canteen. So this really just let you know if they're playing deep or if they're playing close. And so you want to make sure that when you throw in these Daggers, it's about to gather as much information as you possibly can. And so that's the third Dagger. So just to recap on the Daggers, the first one is in the bushes here for early round aggression. The second one is once you start executing on site, you just toss it up onto this little pillar here. This is for mid-round or pushing into the site, clearing the left. And then maybe if you're playing post-plant and you want to help your teammates, they start to execute. Most of the times they'll execute through B-Link and Canteen from the rotate. So you'll just toss it up on here on the bottom, and it is a huge spot to stop any retake capability. So those are the Daggers. So next is flashes. I have a couple that I usually use here on the B site, especially when pushing on the stairs. The first one is really simple. You kind of just come up into this area. Sometimes I'll hug this box, but you need momentum as you're throwing, so you just want to throw it over this line here. So as you're executing, you just want to toss it over to push, maybe like an operator or somebody playing on site. Usually, a chamber or a jet might play this angle, but the flash lands somewhere just right in this vicinity, in this line right here. So what it does is if anybody's aiming this corner, they have to concede it. They have to look away because the flash is going to pop right here. And so wherever they are, unless they're like playing super close right here, they have to push off this angle. So if I have a duelist who's aggressive, maybe it's a neon or a jet who wants to dash in and put some smokes up, I'll just toss this flash right away, push this person off of this angle, and so we can get a clear shot. So that's the first flash over this wall here. The second flash is going to be a left click onto this wall right here. And the reason why it's a left click is because, sometimes people want to do a right click for a pop flash, and that's fine as well. But for me, I like to do a left click here because it allows you to clear angles during the timing of the flash. And sometimes when you're playing a pop flash here, people will wait up until the very last second it pops with a shot, and so they won't back off when they see the flash. So what I do is I like to throw a left click right up against this box here to clear the CT link and canteen. And the reason why I do that is because it gives me a little bit of time to clear this safely, as when the flash hits, then I'll start to peek out. So it gives you more information if you play with your flash. Now, the reason why I do this is because when you enter B site on Fracture, there's so many lanes. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes that you have to clear. And so this buys a little bit of time for your smokes, for your teammates to get you into the site. And so I like to do those 2 flashes. I don't like to do a pop flash here just because there's so many angles that you can hide from a pop flash. So you throw a pop flash even just right on this corner here, it's just... if you look over here, there's just not enough space. So I don't like the fact that anybody can just evade a pop flash here. So what I'll do is I'll do a left click. I'll get a little bit more spacing so I can clear off an angle so I can push up. All right, and so that's my flashes for the stairs. All right, so next we're going to start on nades for B stairs. Now I have 3 nades. One is for the tower on B as I'm pushing, and then another is when you're attacking onto the site. I'll toss it up and I'll make sure that it lands behind these boxes so it clears out this corner. And then the last one I'll either save for a post-plant scenario, whether that is a lineup or that's to clear off an angle to buy some time. So as many of you know watching my videos, you might see that I like to use my nades to clear off corners so that I get myself more higher percentage of taking a better angle. And so for the first one is going to be the tower lineup. If you want to be really nerdy, you just kind of line up in here. Make sure that your wrist really tucked in. And if you notice there's this little screw at the bottom of this little panel, you want to line up your fragment in there, and I'm going to zoom in just so you can see. So you want to make sure that the bottom right of the nade is lined up with the fragment right there, and then you want to jump and toss at the same time to make sure that you get that momentum. And then the nade flies right into tower here, and it clears off this angle. This is a very cheeky angle people will hold, but it makes sure that if you have a duelist who's rushing in, smokes line up, you toss it over, and it clears off this really strong angle that the defenders can do. Just look at that again. You want to jump and toss at the same exact time, so the momentum, it lands right into the tower here. And then for my third nade, when I've cleared off this angle here, what I'll do is I'll kind of just aim up at this little grassy part here, and I'll just kind of do a little run and toss. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. What it just needs to do is land behind this little box so that what you can do is push off this person on this angle and making sure that they can't flash you through. This is a very common spot. I'll play it sometimes when I'm playing KO to do a little pop flash. So this is a very important spot. Or I'll just keep the nade. I'll do a lineup. If you are interested in those lineups, you can look at my fractured nade lineup, but I'll show 2 really quick ones so you can see how easy it is to do a lineup. On KO as fracture, there's one there. You can do one here. And it all just depends on how you want to play your nades. All right, so moving on to the next side. So we're going to start with daggers. And the first dagger is going to land right in the top of the tower here. It's going to be a lineup. And the second one I like to throw under the underpass. It clears off anybody looking B-link. It's more of a supportive dagger. And so the first one we'll jump right into. It's really simple, so it's pretty round. Just kind of look at this rock. There's a lot of room for error. You can be on top of it. You can be in front of it. It doesn't really matter. There's a lot of room for error. I like to just be in front of it. And then you just put your dagger and you line it up right here in this little black area. You don't want to go past it. because then it won't clear all of the tower. You just want to go like right here at the edge of it. Just kind of toss it up into the air here, and this is what it looks like. It lands right here at the top, and it clears off anybody here in the tower, and it lets your teammates know if there's anybody playing here in the back or anybody here. So if they're executing, they'll know, hey, do I need to look in this vicinity? They can smoke it, and then you can have a really clear dagger for tower. It's really nice. And then the second dagger is I like to just throw it into the underpass right here. It just clears off anybody sitting in this like cheeky angle here with an operator. And it just really lets you know, your teammates know, hey, is anybody in this spot? Can I move forward? And it also lets you know if there's anybody in this little area. So, you know, sometimes somebody will play this little corner here, or they'll just like, you know, they'll aim it. So this dagger really just lets you know, hey, do I need to look in that spot? You know, it's clear, nobody's there. I can just focus on tower and the right side and all my attention here. All right, next we're going to take a look at flashbangs. Now, I only have 2 flashes here on arcade, but I think that they're really effective when you're trying to push. One is to clear the entire arcade area here with heaven. So this is a bit more of a basic flash. It's just bouncing off the wall here. And the other one is a more creative flash, which I'll kind of walk you through, but it involves bouncing it off this little satellite here. Now just bear with me as I kind of talk through it. So this first one is just a simple flash. I like to do a left click here. I like to hit it on this wall, and I kind of like to walk forward with it so it bounces off. I want to try to get it as close to this wall as possible, and the reason why is because if somebody's holding this angle here, and if it pop flashes, like say for example here, that's an easy kind of dodge. But if you push it out a little more over here, they can't hold the wide swing here. They kind of have to push back off of it. So I like to throw it so it hits as close to the angle as possible, so that they have to kind of concede this spot, or at least move off of their position. And so what I'll do is I was kind of like throw it up against this line, and I'll just kind of run and toss it really quick so it bounces, and as soon as it does, I'll peek out. Now, the reason why a left click is so important here is because it allows you to kind of like jiggle peek and clear these angles as your flash is kind of walking up. So toss it, you kind of just like clear up the angles, and then as it pops, you're able to clear up more angles, and that's why I like doing that. And the second one is more of a funny flash. I like to do it, toss it into this like a little bit above the satellite, and just make sure it lands right on top of where that is. Now see, make sure it just hits the satellite. And the reason why we want to throw it at the satellite is because if there's somebody aiming here, there's no way around getting off of this satellite. So they have to concede it. See that? Because if you throw a pop flash or whatever, they're still here. But if you throw it at this satellite, they're going to have to move off. So it's high enough in their sight. And then, you know, just kind of push it, and you should have a free angle on that. Now for B arcade nades, it's I only have 2, but they're very simple. So the first one is going to be a lineup for the tower, and then the second one is when you're pushing and just tossing it here at the arcade. So this is, for me, as I said, I like to clear out the corners to lower the percentage of enemies having angles on me. So if the first one is just very simple, I'll just show you really quickly. It's like when you're clearing these corners, you toss the flash, you're with the teammate, maybe clear this off. What I'll do is I'll just toss a nade right there. Like I'll just toss it there, try to push them off, because this is such a punishable angle if you don't clear this off and there's somebody holding deep like this. It is incredibly punishable, especially if there's a flash. So I'll just toss it there really quick, make sure that that's clear, and now I only have to have one real angle to worry about outside of this one as I'm clearing the spots. So the first one's very simple, clear off that box that on arcade, very important. However, if you're pushing with your team and you want to do an aggressive play, or you want to do a timed push together, I have a lineup here that clears out tower. Say, for example, you want to push that person off their angle, or you want to help your duelist get through this lane here. So what I'll do is when the round starts, I'll line up in this little spot here. So if you notice, this is like a Pinocchio head, right? There's like a head and then like a very long nose. You're still safe, but you can start to execute a lineup. You just kind of line up here. There's a lot of room from area. You just kind of stand right here in this opening. And then if you just look right here, there's this little spot where all the lines kind of intersect. You want to just line up your UI for your nade right there. The little arrow lines up right at where they all connect. And when your team is ready to execute, you just toss it over. Look how easy that is. And then look how beautiful this nade is. It clears off this entire angle for 4 seconds. If you have a raise, a jet, or a neon, this spot, you just flash it through with the breach and boom, like execute, you can get up there, you can get through this lane. So we'll get, once again, line up on Pinocchio here, boom. Line your UI, quickly toss it over, and you can follow up with a flash for your teammate. Look at that execution timing. See how easy that is? That's what you want when you're playing with a team, and you want that really crisp, perfect timing with your team. So first we're going to take a look at pushing the disc, satellite, or drop, whatever you want to call it here on A. There's two daggers I like to utilize. There's one that hits the dish. This is about 90% of my plays. I'll just clear this angle. It's the most powerful dagger, especially for dish to clear out so much. And then the second one is a lineup I'll throw right on top of the second platform on A site. So the first one here is just really simple. You just want to start right in the round starts, you toss it right here. This is one of the most powerful daggers on this map because it clears off an entire lane. But it also, if anybody's trying to play aggressive, sometimes a breach will try to flash with a disc, or there'll be any flasher, whether it's a Sky, KAYO, try to pop flash over this. This will suppress them. This buys you at least 3 seconds to get into this lane here and start pushing with your team. Now, if you do happen to hit somebody with this, you have a 50-50 chance of where they're going to go. So really, it's up to you to clear this angle first and then peek this one here. So the second one is dagger lineup for on-site. This is a bit more accurate, and it is very important that it's not pixel perfect, but that you do it correctly. So you want to just line up here on this rock here. You don't want to go too far to the left. You just want to like center it. Aim your dagger UI so the dagger lines up right here on this left side of the K. So if you can see right here, I'm going to zoom in for y'all right here. So if you look at the bottom, kind of like where the radius of the dagger is, I'm going to zoom in right here so you can see. You see how that emanating circle is on the light gray part right here, and then the dagger is on the line. It's very important that you do it this way. And the reason why I'll show you is because when you toss this dagger, you want this to land really snugly right into this little corner. This makes it unkillable unless somebody is up here and they're waiting for the dagger, which will give you a ton of information. Especially for if your team is collapsing on A and somebody is pushing A main, then you know for sure someone's playing at the top of the stairs here, or they're waiting for this dagger on site. And so this becomes a very powerful dagger, and if they don't kill it, well, then you get some information if they're on site or if they're not on site. So let's look at that again. Or if you want to do a coordinated attack on site, you can even wait too. This takes about a good 5 to 6 seconds to land. Say your teammate's pushing A main, you toss it up now, it'll land. I'll do a timer on this so you can see. You can let your team know, and it clears out the entire site. All right, we're going to jump into flashbangs next. So for flashbangs, there are of course so many ways in which you can improvise, especially as KAYO. You can toss this flash here, push it. There's so many ways, but I'll just do a common flash that I do, which is just I'll hug this wall here for a teammate. As they're pushing in, I'll just throw a left-handed pop flash right over this hill here. I'll just kind of toss it over so it becomes a one-way. Now what's great is that the flash kind of lands like in this general vicinity. So if somebody's playing this corner here, especially if aggressively, they're going to have to push off of it. The reason why sometimes I'll throw a flash here is because if you keep throwing a dagger every time the round starts, they might just be aggressive and push up and take this angle. And they don't care if they get suppressed. And so you want to always mix things up a little bit, right? So when the round starts, you don't want to throw a dagger right away. You want to throw the flash. Let your teammate take the corner and then throw the dagger. And so you want to mix things up a little bit so that it's not always a pattern, because once you start doing the same thing over and over again and it becomes a pattern, your enemies are going to learn how to play off of it, and they're going to punish you for it. And so sometimes I won't throw a dagger. My teammates will push up, and then just to clear the angle, I'll just toss it over on this little roof area here, and I'll just do a pop one-way flash. My teammates have free and clear to take this spot, and then I'll throw a dagger after. So that when they clear this angle, I'll then come and clear this angle for them, right? And I'll aim here, this headshot line, and then my teammates can start to advance through here. And so, as I said, you want to be able to improv, mix and match a little bit so you're not doing the same thing over and over again. And then secondly, when I'm on site here and we're about to execute, sometimes, or most of the times, this will be smoked off by the defenders. So you can either just toss a flash over this wall here for the ropes, or you can just do a pop flash down here. So sometimes if there's a smoke here, I'll just do a really quick one and I'll jump over here. So for nades, as I stated before, I like to clear off corners for it. So sometimes what I'll do when the round starts, you can actually get to this spot before the defenders do. So sometimes if they're not a neon, sometimes when the round starts, I'll just toss the nade right there. Because it's such a powerful nade and it kills in 2 pulses, that allows me and my teammate to get over here, and then you can kind of push through this lane, safely. Now, if we want to be really cheeky and you'll be really nerdy, what I'll do is I'll come up to this line right here, especially when we're timing and execute. I'll just kind of wait, make sure I have this line. Everybody's kind of setting up, whether they're like getting through A main or they're coming up on drop or playing a little slow. What I'll do is I'll just aim up here at this little box. So if you look at this, it's like this little brown little area. I just kind of aim in the center here, and I'll just toss the nade. And what this does is it clears off the spot here on ropes. So if anybody's aiming the floor here when you're coming through smokes, they have to kind of come off of it. But look how nice that nade is, especially for an execute. Can you imagine, you know, your team is smoking through, you're like, okay, I'm ready, and then boom, you toss it over, they smoke it, it lands, you have a clear spot to kind of get in, clear it together. Now finally, we're at A main. This is a huge map, so thanks for bearing with me. Now we're going to look at how to attack on A main with daggers. Now there's 3 daggers I have. One is for the rope, second is for the main, and then a lineup for on site to clear if anybody's in there. This is more for a timed attack. So if the first one is super easy, you can stand in this box, you can go anywhere, but just know that this spot right here, okay, this is the nest area for the rope. See, look how simple that is. When we break the map down like that, we know that this wall is the same wall as the one here for at the attackers for the ropes. So what you want to do is when the round starts, you just toss it up. This is great for if you have a teammate who wants to push the door really quickly and you can smoke the nest. This lets you get into sands really quickly. There's no way that they can flash through this or they can concuss. Usually a breach will play here and they'll line up something or they'll try to flash through this wall. So what is great about this is if anybody's playing in the nest, you can suppress them. You can at least get information for any early game aggression for your teammates if you have a Neon or a Raze who wants to kind of get up there or even a Jet. But it allows you to kind of help your teammates. Now the second one is when you're in A main here, this is to clear off, like if you didn't push sands and you didn't use this one here, you can use it to clear off this little area for a chamber operator, or usually somebody will hold this who can get out, maybe like a Jet or something. What's nice about this spot, I'll just kind of aim in the center, is that it clears off in case anybody kind of like tries to sneak over here to this side. But hopefully it'll at least push them off or gives you information and know, hey, there's a chamber, they're playing here with an operator, so toss this dagger out, especially to clear such a powerful angle. What's great about this is that if your team takes A main, there's so much power in grabbing this orb, watching this door. You kind of have to respect that they might be just inches away from getting onto the site. And so clearing off this corner is really great for the dagger. And then finally, the second one, the last one is for a lineup. You just want to hug this little corner in here. Super easy. You see this little area, there's like a little divot here. It's like it was made for lineups. You just want to line up your dagger in there. See how simple that is? Just line up your dagger in there. You toss the dagger over. This takes about a good 7 seconds to land, but it lands right on top of sight here, and it'll clear to let you know if anybody's playing deep into it. There's a lot of room for error, so you don't have to like really line up anything. You just kind of like sit in this corner, aim up. It'll land on sight. It'll clear off a lot of things. You can kind of play off of it. By the time you get over here, you'll know if somebody's on site or if they're not playing on site. So for flashes, what I'll do here on A main, I only have 3 flashes. They're all used for something different. So the first flash is a left click. I'll bounce off this wall to clear off A main. Another one is a right click I'll use to enter the door. And then the third one is to try to be tricky by throwing something through the door to make a sound cue for the enemies. And so the first one, say for example, you throw a dagger here, you suppress like a chamber, or a Jet. Sometimes they won't push off this angle, right? So you have to, add another set of utilities. So I'll just aim it on this line. I'll run and toss it, throw a little bit high, and then I'll push with the flash. I won't push before that flash hits because people, especially because it's a left click, people will wait till the very last second. So I'll try to clear up this angle, and then I'll peek on that last one there. So yeah, let's take a look at that. If you toss it on that wall, it lands around right here. So they can't really hold it super wide. They'll get flashed, they'll get punished for it, but they'll have to hold it pretty close. But either way, they're gonna get some sort of flashed if they hold long enough. They're gonna get hit, but they can go to safety, that's fine, but it allows you to take more space. So I like to throw it on this line here because I like to push them off as much as I can, and it's still almost perpendicular with this angle here, so they're gonna get flashed. Second one is a cheeky one I'll do if I want to push through the door. I'll just kind of hug here, maybe for timing, maybe for my teammates. They're going to push A main, and then they're going to come through the drop. They're going to smoke. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of aim like in the middle here, or it can be here too, just depending on if you think somebody's playing at the top of the rope or they're playing close. If they're playing close, I'll just aim here in this little corner and I'll toss it. And then what I'll do is as soon as I toss it, I'll run through the door with my gun. Okay, so let's just look at what that timing looks like. So you right click and then you run. It'll make the sound cue, but as soon as it does, the person will see a flashbang. So we're going to wait for the door to close and we're going to do it again. Okay, so we're going to toss a flash, and we're going to just run through. So if you do it immediately, the timing will flash the person at the same time. So because of the space between the door and this flash, as soon as the door opens, they're only going to see a flashbang if they're looking at the door. So sometimes what I'll do with my third flash is I'll just pair it up. So sometimes I won't go through the door and I'll just toss it through because the flash is able to make the sound cue and the flash cue. So say for example, I know that they're not here and the timing goes through, I'll just flash it over. Okay, they probably think that it's just a flash coming through. And then second time, I'll actually go through with the flash. And so if they do look, they're flashed and hopefully I can punish them. So when I'm pushing A main as KAYO, I actually don't like to use my nade for pre-round stuff. I like to keep it, especially because there's so many corners on Fracture on A main. Like for example, somebody's strafing behind this box, or if I know somebody's here and they're hiding, they're strafing in and out, I'll throw my nade there. And so I'm going to show you some nades that are just more practical once you're like situationally in the game of what you can do. So I like to throw a nade here if there's somebody playing this box a lot. If there's like a Viper playing on site, which is very common on Fracture, or there's like a Killjoy or a Cypher, a very common spot is this stairs spot. They'll play off of a trip, or they're on site playing off of this like here. So it's just really making sure that it's all situational. So I'll just clear out lanes based off of how I know. So I tend to go pretty slow on A main, and then I'll toss nades to clear off angles to get on site just to make sure. This is a very common spot here, so sometimes I'll just throw nade over. This nade still hits this box. I don't have to like peek the angle. I'll just toss it to clear it. And then finally, if my team gets on site and I want to buy some time for like a plant, I'll just toss it right here in CT. This guarantees the plant. So it's really at this point just trying to be as situational as possible, making sure that you're clearing out lanes for your teammates. And with the buffs from KAYO, really, if you just toss this nade here, it clears off both these lanes. So it's really important, especially on A main, because as I said, there's so many cheeky, spots you can hide in. Use it sparingly to know where you can clear angles. So that's what I like to do in A. And lastly, thank you so much for watching this far. I mean, you made it to the 30-minute mark. Congratulations. Hope this was as fun and helpful for you as it was for me making this video. If you did make it to this far, leave a comment with like KAYO is winning. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Hope this helps you in the game. And if you're looking for more Fracture videos, I have 2 lineup videos that I made. I'll put them in the description. I hope this helps you in the game. Thanks a lot.